denyo ho wada dang dang. Engo denyo ho denyo ho wada dang dang.
Januksen ya waleta matam sanga. Yabo.
This is the voice of the patriot where we speak truth to power. Now here we don't criticize, but if we must, it would only be on one condition: to build and not to destroy. That is why we keep saying we are in the service of God and country. This is the voice of the patriot. And again, here we have taken sides. We are not neutral, never. We have taken sides, yes? The side of the truth. That is why we keep saying we are the headquarters of the truth and from the control tower. This is from the office of the patriot, and my name, Blakk Rasta. Now today we have a number of stories we need to look at, and I need you to come along. Now the very first story I'm reading today is taken from Ghana, wherever, and it says 701 diplomatic and service passports of former government officials cancelled. And I read, now the Ministry of Foreign Affairs has officially cancelled 701 diplomatic and service passports belonging to a wide range of former public office holders and individuals no longer serving in official capacities. Now the affected categories include former ministers and their spouses, former members of parliament, former members of the Council of State and their spouses, retired justices of the superior and lower courts, former regional ministers, former MMDCEs, and former officers of state institutions, including board chairpersons. Now the rest are officials of the National Cathedral Project, former non-career ambassadors and dependents, religious and traditional leaders, businessmen and entrepreneurs, and former government functionaries. In a statement dated May 6, 2025, the ministry disclosed that the affected passports include 341 unreturned diplomatic passports and 360 service passports, which are no longer valid for international travel. Consequently, owing to the failure or refusal of the other holders to comply with the directive, the underlisted 341 unreturned diplomatic and 360 service passports bearing the following serial numbers have been hereby cancelled with immediate effect on the instructions of the Honorable Minister of Foreign Affairs. All affected passports have been placed on the stop list and shall be confiscated from any persons attempting to travel same. It added. My brother, my sister, I need to applaud the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. In fact, one of the worst documents to hold in Ghana for the past 8 years is the Ghanaian diplomatic passport. We had charlatan, thieving, armed robber personalities, my brother, my sister, holding this document. Charlatan, so-called men of God, my brother, my sister, who in reality were nothing but armed robbers using the Bible. They all had these passports. I must applaud the Honorable Foreign Minister, Samuel Ablakwa. Listen, my brother, my sister. It came to a time that the Ghanaian diplomatic passport was less valuable than a toilet paper. Hey! Anybody could just jump into the offices that issue these passports. Any Tom, Dick, and Harry could just go in there and get same. My brother, my sister, I will entreat the Honorable Foreign Minister to go into the proper names of some of these people that were issued with diplomatic passports. People like Kwesi Boateng, they all had these diplomatic passports, we're told. Self-styled, jelly-curled, bleach-faced men of God all had this. Charlatans portrayed themselves as diplomats, all because of this dirty party in power that had no respect, absolutely, for diplomatic relations. My brother, my sister, one of the most important documents of every nation is the passport. Today, as it stands, Ghanaians celebrate it so much when they are issued with a British passport or an American passport or any such passports, and they are ready to throw away their Ghanaian passports into the wildest burning fire. Why is it so? Because patriotism has come to the lowest ebb. Ghanaians have become cowards. Our leaders are armed robbers. They are thieves. A lot of our leaders, in fact, were created by Satan on the day God rested, the seventh day. My brother, my sister, the Ghanaian passport, I said, came to the lowest ebb, especially the so-called diplomatic passports. People with no honor, no dignity, no iota of patriotism, they all grabbed this hitherto holy document of diplomatism. My brother, my sister, the Honorable Samuel Ablakwa, in fact, has done so well to be able to stop all these charlatans from traveling. My brother, you came into office as a minister of state. Your tenure of office is over. You need to return all these so that you return into normal life one more time. But no, they have enjoyed these diplomatic relations, this diplomatic life, the life of diplomats. And for that matter, they want to continue that. And the most painful thing is that whilst they were in office, they helped to bury Ghana even deeper. I applaud the Ministry of Foreign Affairs one more time. 701. Make sure that all of them, none of them holds that passport anymore. Make sure that you bring some form of dignity back to this document and bring some respect to our nation. I remember I was traveling to America some time ago, and I was traveling with a friend who was holding the American passport. When we arrived in Turkey, in fact, the Turkish authorities saw the American passport, though they couldn't speak fluent English. You know what they said? This passport is everything. That's what they said about the American passport. The American passport takes you everywhere. I am sure the American passport is even enough to take you to heaven. I am sure that the American passport, my brother, my sister, alone is enough to open doors that nobody could open for you except God. So the American passport is next to the heart of God. How did America reach that status? Is it by coming into our nations and robbing us of our gold and diamond, killing us unnecessarily, using diplomatic nonsense to eradicate all of us and steal from us? Do you know your history? Today they have a dumb president who says America first and is doing everything radically possible to behave like that politician who is not a politician. Yet we sit here with all our diplomatism and we behave like idiots. My brother, my sister, it is time to put some respect on our country. It is time to abolish all the dual citizenships in this nation. My brother, my sister, I am looking forward to the day that there would only be one citizenship in this world. In fact, in Africa, citizen of Africa. When Africa unites, we shall no longer see a Sudanese person from an Ivorian. Neither would we see a Ghanaian from a Nigerian. We all will be one people, and we all would hold one passport, the passport of Africa. When we continue disintegrating ourselves like this, what Nkrumah referred to as fragmentalism, my brother, my sister, we will continue to be the cinders that gloss the fire. Congratulations one more time. Please put some dignity on the diplomatic passports. I'll leave it here. Now the next thing I'm reading is taken from Ghana Web, and it says the NPP is sidestepping the very foundation of our democratic system. And this is Kwesi Pratt speaking. And I read, the managing editor of the Inside newspaper, Kwesi Pratt Jr., has criticized the New Patriotic Party for disregarding Ghana's 1992 constitution in pursuit of narrow political interests. Speaking on Metro TV's Good Morning Ghana on May 7, 2025, a broadcaster monitored by Ghana Web, Pratt expressed outrage over recent remarks made by the NPP's Director of Communication, Richard Ahiagbah. According to Pratt, Ahiagbah openly admitted that the party was more focused on political strategy than adherence to constitutional principles. Ahiagbah says they are doing politics, not following the constitution. He even said, forget the constitution. That tells you everything about their priorities. They are sidestepping the very foundation of our democratic system. As for this Richard Ahiagbah guy, including Afenyo-Markin and one Miracles Abuaje, in fact, if this was the days of slavery, I'll be the first person to sell them out into slavery. And I'll make sure they go deep into the plantations of America, farm themselves off dry. They are behaving like non-citizens of this nation. And it's sad. In the days of Rawlings, they would have hot bullets running through their brains and be buried in mass graves unmarked. Thank God, we have gone beyond those days. Right now, it's all about dialogue and common sense. My brother, somebody sits on TV, on radio, and he tells you, forget the constitution, the very bedrock, the foundation on which this nation was built. Sad. Truly sad. And it brings tears into my eyes. When they were in power, they were shouting out Constitution. Article 242, blah, 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 6 and 1, this. They quoted the Constitution like lotto numbers. Today, my brother, my sister, they are out of power, and the Constitution all of a sudden has become a toilet paper. Do these people deserve to be called citizens of this nation? Politics has become so cheap that idiots, my brother, my sister, in coat and tie, can all of a sudden be revered. I have no respect for these guys. Same way I lost respect for that guy called Baumia. My brother, my sister, I am so angry with anybody who looks down on this nation. What kind of a nation are we building for our children? What nation are we building for our children's children? It looks like we are all headless jacks in this country. being puppeted by a few morons. And it hurts. Look at the work of our ancestors, our forebears. They worked so hard. They laid down their lives. A lot of them visited early graves in order to see this nation this far. You have a few idiotic morons, my brother, my sister, who want the nation to retrogress. Forget the constitution. We are doing politics. What does it mean to say you are doing politics? You are being dishonest. In Ghana, when you say politics, it's all about cruelty, criminality, and dishonesty. If I am lying, tell me I am lying. If I'm an idiot, please feel no way. Forget the gray hair in my beard. Call me an idiot. Call a spade, and not a long farm implement or a big spoon. A spade is always a spade. My brother, my sister. We cannot sit down and allow a few morons in our country to draw us into their moronity. Do you know what it means to say constitution? If the constitution is sick, we need to cure it. We don't have to throw it away with the baby in the bathtub. To the point that big wigs of a political party can come out and say, forget the constitution, we have our own laws. It's the same thing that dunderhead guy called, what's his name again? That guy who says he had 20 radio stations. Wouldn't to me. Empty heads like that are also leaders. No leadership skills. All they know is radical vandalism. They destroy our flora and fauna, kill millions to make trillions. And at the end of the day, these are the people who we call leaders. One to me said, he had become so powerful, he had built his own empire in the Ashanti kingdom. Asante Hini got mad and angry. And quickly they had to bring him to order. He feigned sickness. At the end of the day, his smoothness level, he reached. My brother, I don't want to spend too much time on this, but let us be sensible. That's the word. Let's be patriotic. We have spoken diplomatically all these years. And if diplomatism is not taking us anywhere, you know what we have to do? Radicalism. That's the word. What ordinary people will say, if persuasion fails, force must be applied. Even God, when he warned people over and over to stay away from a certain kind of thing, and they refused, he flashed them with thunder and lightning, brimstone and fire. Even Jesus Christ, when he warned them against foolishness, calling them cockroaches and dogs, my brother, my sister, they still went ahead to misbehave. What did he do? He pulled a rod of correction, whipped the hell out of them in the synagogue. If these guys are refusing to think, please, let us deal with them with iron hands. Oh, yes. The next thing I want to look at, and I'm going to be very quick with this because it's self-explanatory, and I'm reading this from my Joy Online. It says, Mahama has done very well in his 120-day social contract. And this is Professor Ade talking. I read. Renowned educationist Professor Stephen Ade has congratulated President John Dramani Mahama on the completion of his first 120-day term in office, saying the president has performed well. Now, speaking on Joint News' news desk on Wednesday, 7th May, ahead of the president's address on the 120-day social contract, he had with Ghanaians, Professor Ade highlighted that from an objective perspective, the president has made commendable progress during the short period. Jesus. My brother, even people with no eyes, people with no ears, people who are numb in all parts of their body, they can feel, see, and hear the loudness of the achievements of John Dramani Mahama. People like Afenyo-Markin call him vengeful and heartless. But my brother, my sister, in the 120 days in power, we have seen the dollar start to run diarrhea so heavily as if it has eaten gonja fufu. My brother, my sister, in the 120 days in power, I have seen the dollar run fever as if it has drank kotokoli cocoa. My brother, my sister, in the 120 days of Mahama in power, oh Lord, I have seen things unprecedentedly achieved in recent times. Mahama, my brother, my sister, is a flashing rod of lightning in these times. The dollar has gone down when the 24-hour economy has not even been implemented. Taxes have all fallen into a deep abyss. Prices of petrol come down, my brother, my sister, in the 120 days. Did you know that? 2 days ago, I went to buy fuel, and I realized that fuel prices had gone down. And it's quiet all over the place. It doesn't look like, they do the work without necessarily making noise. Let your work make all the noise. My brother, my sister, if Mahama continues like this, the NPP will continue to be in political oblivion for the next 6 trillion years. That is if Jesus wouldn't have arrived by then. Jesus have mercy. In the 120 days in power, I have seen Ghana start to work again. I have seen criminals being chased around. And I've seen the smoothness levels of arrogant former officials of this nation. Right now, they are shell-shocked. I heard Afenyo-Markin say yesterday, oh, you know why the dollar is coming down? You know why the economy is improving? It's all because Mahama has not started spending. In fact, contractors who have worked have not been paid. And they are not spending any money. They are only spending money on fuel for Jubilee House, and that is all. But even if this is true, why don't you applaud the president? That in 120 days in power, he has not spent money. How were people paid? Workers, salaries. In 120 days, according to these guys, Mahama is not spending, and all other things remaining equal. The dollar is beginning to see its smoothness level. Must you not applaud this guy? You went all the way and brought Bawumia from some obscure jungle where he was the king of the jungle. My brother, my sister, with all the animals dancing naked in front of him, the king of the jungle. You lied to us that he was Adam Smith. You should have told us the truth that he was a blacksmith. He came here. We all touted him as the economic whiz kid. In fact, when he organized lectures on economics, some of us ran diarrhea as if we had eaten some gonja fufu. In fact, as if we had drank some kotokoli tea. Jesus have mercy. My God have mercy. We all saw Bawumia to be the economic whiz kid. In no time, remember that no matter how much you suppress the cock in water, just make sure you don't release the pressure. It will shoot to the top. We saw his true character. He was a charlatan fraud. Fraudster. 4110 beyond 419. Today, my brother, my sister, the NDC that is in power has no economic whiz kid, but the nation is working. The NDC has not brought anybody that they call Adam Smith or Bawumia Smith. My brother, my sister, but the dollar is beginning to run helter-skelter as if it was under some bombardment in the Second World War. I'm going to conclude on this. I want to say, Mahama, you see how the applaud is coming left, right, and center. It's the same way the lash is going to come if things start to go abysmal. I pray it never happens. I know the zeal you have. I see the fire in your eye. Never ever be, what's the word? Swollen-headed, for want of a better word. My brother, my sister, never stop working until the 4 years are over. Then you can look back and say, hey, so I was working all this while like a donkey. Time now to take a rest. Ghana will be happy with you, love you even in death. Your family will continue to be loved. You'll be eulogized. In fact, if people like this Professor Ade, are saying this, that you must know that there's a higher calling. Now I'm reading this also from Ghana. This is not Ghana Web. This is Graphic Online, the national communicator, and it's interesting. It says Ghana's inflation falls 21.2% in April. That is what it is. The inflation has fallen to 21.2%. Ghana's consumer inflation has continued on a downward trajectory for the 4th consecutive month, dropping to 21.2% in April 2025 from 22.4% in March, according to new figures published by the Ghana Statistical Service. Now, the decline reflects rising pressures across both food and non-food categories, yet food inflation remains high at 21%, posing an ongoing challenge for households and policy makers alike. And this is also from Ghana Web. It says, Ghana, businesses will need a permit to export unprocessed rubber, cashew, and shea from May 2. And I read, beginning May 2, 2025, all businesses and individuals engaged in the export of unprocessed rubber, cashew, or shea from Ghana must first obtain written authorization from the Tree Crops Development Authority, TCDA, in line with new regulatory measures announced by the authority. In a public notice issued and signed by the Chief Executive Officer of the TCDA, Mr. Andy Osei Okra, the authority underscored its legal mandate under the Tree Crops Development Authority Act 2019, Act 1010, and Tree Crop Regulation 2023 LI 2471 to regulate and develop the production, processing, and trading of key tree crops, including rubber, cashew, shea, mango, coconut, and oil palm.
waleta matamsanga. Yabo! Yabo!
As I speak right now, there's a demonstration in Tamale. My brother, my sister, and this demonstration is ongoing. My producer is going to call the leader of these demonstrators, my brother, my sister, and we're going to speak with them and find out exactly why they are demonstrating. My brother, my sister, now Ghana has agreed that yes, we can export all these things, but we cannot do that without license. My brother, my sister, now share butter, to export that, you would need a license in its raw form. To export mango in its raw form, you need a license. Cashew, you need a license. Rubber, you need a license. My brother, my sister. But why are people demonstrating in Tamale right now against this? In Burkina Faso, we are told that they have banned the exportation of all these things in their raw forms. But in Ghana, there is no such ban. All you need is a certain document to help you to be able to send this out. The interesting thing is that share is only limited to West Africa. When you go to America, there's no share tree. There's no share tree in Korea. There are no share nuts in Latvia. Just like cocoa. But today, Chinese people are able to grow cocoa in China. But they have never succeeded in growing share trees in China. So the new cocoa is share nuts. Nkuto. Now if people need licenses to be able to export this in their raw forms, it might sound so good, isn't it? But the people in Tamale, share nut producers, have all gathered on the streets of Tamale, and they are demonstrating right now. What word are they sending out? They are not happy with the law. They want a total ban on share nut exportation. They want everything to be processed in Ghana like it is done in Burkina Faso, in Mali, and other places. If share nuts must leave this country, they have to be processed. They fear that once we send our unprocessed share nuts out of this country, these guys will turn everything around, and then they will process this, put value, bring back to us, and sell to us at a price that is an arm and a leg. That is their fear. Have we been able to process our cocoa yet? Have we? Have we not? Have we been able to process our own rubber? In fact, laws like this would help. Total ban on the exportation of all these will push us and force us to process all these things in our country before we export. My brother, my sister, this is why they are demonstrating in Tamale. My producer is trying to get the leader of the demonstration, who is in the heat of the demonstration, my brother, my sister, so that we'll be able to talk to them. My brother, my sister, What do you think about this? Should there be a total ban? Or you think as it stands right now, from May 2nd, as we are told, what should we do? It looks like I have my brethren on the line, and I'm going to be speaking with him right now. Abdul Salam Rahman, how are you doing?
I'm good. Blakk Rasta.
Thank you so much for, accepting to talk to us. So I hear there's a demonstration in Tamale, right?
Yes, please. We just ended the demonstration, I think, from 15 minutes ago.
What are you demonstrating about?
A couple of things. It's a peaceful demonstration, but with a purpose. And then most importantly, we are trying to ensure that we have security for jobs, for our youth, and then for our women who are into share collection and also processing.
What exactly is the problem? The government says you need a license before you can export share products, cashew, rubber, and all that. What is your problem about that?
Yes, Blakk Rasta, our network is not against trade. In fact, we want a fair trade. The issue is that Northern Ghana have the collection of the best share across West Africa. And we have industries within Ghana that are processing the share nut and then exporting the butter for further processing. But after some time, we've realized that our processors, including the artisanal processing, are not getting the share to process. And before, whenever there is a shortage due to climate change, because if the yield is not enough, we are not getting enough share for our industrial processing and also for our artisanal processing. So what we do is to substitute that shortage by buying across West Africa, Burkina Faso, Togo, and then Benin. But Blakk Rasta, let me mention, Benin, Togo, and Burkina Faso have banned the export of raw share nuts. Now, let me backtrack. Within Ghana, we compete with international buyers to buy our raw share nuts, and they export it outside the country. But before, it's not a big deal because the volume that they take from Ghana is not enough, because it's not much, because they are able to source from these other West African countries. But now, because of the ban of the export of share nuts across these West African countries, now every exporter or international exporter is in Ghana to pick shares. Already we are having shortage because of climate change. The yield is not good, and even within Ghana, our traders are not able to even source raw share nuts for these industries, artisanal and also industrial processing. Now we have international buyers with liquid, with hard currency to compete with the local buyers for artisanal processing and also industrial processing. So we are saying that we can't compete with these international buyers. They will take all the raw share nuts and export it away. And when that happens, our industries will shut down. Our artisanal processing, which is 90% women-led, are going to lose jobs. And we have done a lot of work to attract the youth to artisanal processing and also for industrial processing, both skilled labor and then casual labor. Now, when we allow these raw share nuts to go out, we are going to lose all these jobs. The women will not get jobs. They can't even get the raw share nuts to process at their artisanal factories, and our industrial factories will not also have raw share nuts to process. So our black-owned and local-owned companies that are processing the raw share nuts will not be able to process, and about thousands of jobs will be lost. And we are also trying to curb rural-urban migration. You see, so when all these jobs are lost, then we have a problem in Ghana to handle. So we are telling our government they should look at our plight, they should listen to us, and also consider banning. They can do it in phases. Maybe at a period where the raw share nut are coming out, they can ban it. After some time, when maybe at the peak season, they can now open it, because if there is a glass also, it's going to be a problem for us. So when the industries are able to absorb what they want to absorb, then the rest can now be exported by these international companies. But we are saying that the government should look into this problem and then help us find a solution, develop a policy that will keep jobs, because we are saying that a raw share nut is women's gold, and that women's gold must remain in Ghana. The nut should be processed in Ghana.
Okay.
Over to you, Mr. Blakk Rasta.
Okay. Abdul Salam Rahman, tell me this. Is the biggest threat to share nut production not the lumbering of the share trees for charcoal in the northern region? Is that not the biggest threat? People felling the trees and using that for charcoal.
Exactly. It's a threat, Blakk Rasta, that we are dealing with. So what we are doing is that we have been able to mobilize all the women that are into share processing. Over 100,000 women that we have mobilized. They are into cooperatives. And we source seedlings for all these women to plant, to increase the stock of share that we have. And also, we've also designed cooking stoves that are climate friendly for them to be used in. So it will minimize the need for use of firewood. And then the share itself is a fuel. So when they come out with the waste, we've designed tools for them to turn the waste into briquettes that they can use as fuel, to fuel it instead of going for the share trees. So there is a reduction in the cut down of the share trees. There is drastic reduction. So if we are trying to reduce the use of firewood for fuel, and we lose the sight of the fact that whilst we are increasing the stock of share, we are not even getting the value, because when we increase, someone is taking it out. We are doing all the groundwork, investing in increasing the stock, and then we have people competing with us and taking it out, and they are not investing anything back into the community. But we are here with the women, and we are doing it. We are saying that, look, these jobs have to remain with the women. If they are cutting down the trees, the jobs will go away. So let's increase the stock. Let's get alternative firewood or alternative fuel for the women, and then they will keep the stock of share nuts within the community.
Yes.
Over, Blakk Rasta.
Unfortunately, we are told that the best charcoal comes out of share nut trees. That is why a lot of people are doing this lumbering. But I'm going to ask you this. Tell me, is it true that share nut trees cannot be cultivated?
No, Blakk Rasta. Share trees can be cultivated. The only problem we have is that when we plant a tree, we expect that within 2-5 years we should begin to reap the fruit of it. But no, share nut is not like that. Share nut can take over 20 years before it will start fruiting. So because of that, it is disincentive for people to say that they are going to have a share plantation. But we plant them within the parkland. So, and forget about them. Before you realize, within 10-20 years, then they grow. So we are investing for the future. We don't want our children, our great-grandchildren to grow up and will not know what share is. Share has a lot of economic value, my brother. Share has a lot of economic value. I'll share a research with you, and I'll also share some of our processors, their income data, for you to see what our local women, the youth, are engaging and keeping jobs within the communities. The local economy is growing with share, and we want it to remain like that.
Interesting. I mean, if it takes about 20 years for a share tree to be able to fruit, it means it takes longer than cocoa, true?
Yes, true, Blakk Rasta. It takes longer than cocoa, but the value of it is immensely, and we need to keep it so that our great-grandchildren will come to see the value. Blakk Rasta, let me check out. There's a long list of food products and also confectionery that uses shea butter. Why is the international market now demanding so much raw shea nut? Why? Because there is high demand. All the industries, when they produce butter, both artisanal processing and industrial processing. It doesn't say up to a month, Blakk Rasta. They are buying the shea butter like crazy.
Interesting.
And we want to process it before we can sell the butter. And in future, God willing, if our government will invest in industry, we will further process the butter into other products, about 6 products that can come from shea butter. We will still continue to process it and send the final product out there for it to be used.
Now, you said the Ghana shea butter is the best shea butter. How different is it from the others from Burkina Faso, Mali, and the rest?
Okay, so shea butter, in terms of its quality, for instance, the FFA within shea for Ghana, our shea butter has the highest yield. So the maximum yield you can get from shea nut or shea kernel is between 50 to 60%. The lowest you can get is 48. That is for Ghana. But for other countries, it can go as low as 20% in the shea kernel. So our nut has a lot of oil in it. And then also to the quality is very high. When you can keep a shea butter that is processed in Ghana for a very long time without it increasing the free fatty acid within the shea butter. So when the free fatty acid is more, the processing is very costly for them to be able to separate the various components, the olein and then the olein and the other components within the shea butter. So when you buy from Ghana, your processing cost is very low. It's very low. And when you buy shea kernel from Ghana, the volume of butter you get from the kernel is very high. That is why all the international buyers want to procure from Ghana. But when our kernel go low, I mean they stock, then they look elsewhere like Burkina Faso and Togo to source. Though the quality and then the productivity within or the yield, within the kernel is as low compared to Ghana.
Okay, all right. 2 more questions that I'll be done. If share nut or the share business is this big and very important, why are you not truly planting these seeds? You mentioned that you planted them. Is it true that you planted them? Where do you plant them? Why are we not seeing them?
Yes. Okay, Blakk Rasta. So within our community, some of the shea trees grow wild, but the challenge that we also face is bush burning, which we are also trying to curb. So we have an agreement with some of the chiefs, and they put in bylaws against bush burning inside the shea parklands. And we also have protected parklands that the government is protecting and only allow the women to go in and pick the nuts when the season is due. So we give these 100,000 women, each of them will go and plant 1 seed in each season. So for 5 years, imagine the 100,000 that we are managing. They will be able to plant close to a 5 million or more of the seeds. So if we continue like that for 10 and 20 years, some will be growing, and like those that we planted will start fruiting, and then the other 2 will also be growing. So in essence, we are increasing the stock. But if you want to know whether we are planting it or not, then we are ready to move with your cameras into the field now that our network is collecting the nuts. So you can see before they collect, they plant one tree down there before they begin to collect as a way of paying homage to the parkland before they collect. This is a norm that we do every season when the season is due for us to start collecting raw shea nuts in the parkland. Yeah.
They only plant 1 nut for collecting so much shea nut.
Well, it is an encouragement to encourage the women to cultivate the habit of planting trees. You see.
Well,
so they say yes. So when you plant 1 tree, you see the shea nut, we don't add fertilizer or anything to it for it to grow. You see. So they are in the parklands, they grow wild, but we increase the stock consciously. We consciously increase the stock of the trees within the parklands. That is even within the small network that we have, about 100,000 cooperatives, women cooperatives. That is the initiative that we have taken. Imagine if we are going to replicate this across all northern Ghana, all the regions that have stock of share.
Right.
Imagine if we are going to replicate that, the number of share trees that can be planted within a season. And even if we increase it to 2, because the seedlings are costly, we pay people to raise the seedlings, then we go and then plant them at the local community. Our own initiative, not funded by any government, private led, like a cooperative led.
Okay. All right. I understand that. Thank you so much. So it's more like a ritual. I understand that. But tell me this. How did your demonstration go? Did you get results? Tell me.
Yes. We invited representatives from the cooperative, and then per our head count, we have close to 400 women participating, all representing different cooperatives across northern region. Though some of the cooperatives we invited couldn't make it. Today is Tamale Market Day, so of course one has to prioritize what makes sense to him or her. But the representation is massive. In fact, we did not anticipate that today being Market Day, we will get close to 400 people representing the cooperative to have this match. So we started from the Mahama Sports Stadium. We walked through Picona, and then we ended at Jubilee Park, because we want to save some time also, so that these women can go have their market activities, and then they will be able to go back to their various communities.
Interesting. So if the authorities do not heed this, what are you going to do next?
Well, we sent a petition to the regional minister. We will wait for his response. Then once we get a response from the regional minister, we will see the next step that government would take in terms of policy. And if our timelines are due and we didn't hear anything, we will write directly to the Ministry of Trade and Industry, and then also we will write to 3 crops institutions to also take the matter forward.
What are your timelines?
We will not relent in our efforts. We will ensure that the jobs remain within our communities.
What are your timelines?
Well, so by mid-season, so take us to say August, where we are hitting close to the peak season, where the nuts are being aggregated and stocked. So after the end of the peak season, then the export will start. So around August, that's when we will start to put massive heat, and for our lawmakers to listen to us, know that they are helping their mothers, they are helping their sisters, they are helping their brothers when they prevent this stock of Russian nuts from being exported outside the country.
I want to thank you so much for talking to us, Mr. Abdul Salam Rahman. And you are with the Ghana Share Cooperatives and Processors Network. Am I correct?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
I want to thank you so much.
I'm representing as their spokesperson, sir.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
This is 3FM.
I really appreciate this interview.
Right. Okay, so my name is Blakk Rasta, and you have heard it all. Oh my God, have mercy. Share business right there in the northern region of Ghana. We have the best in Ghana. And in fact, yes, the best in the whole of Africa, the best in the whole world, just like our cocoa, the best in the world. Share nuts, the best in the world. And our authorities say you need a license to be able to export it in the raw form. But these people here say, no, don't export it at all. Let us be able to process it here first before we send it out. My brother, my sister, that is what they are demonstrating right there in Tamale. And normally in the night after they have finished work and all that, they dance in the night in the moonlight. And this kind of dance is called Simpa.